It's Uvalde Radio. It's Robert Miguel here with you, getting excited about the big show this Saturday evening at the Uvalde Grand Opera House. I'm telling you what, man, Kaylin and Camille are really doing a bang-up job over there, despite the COVID and the lockdown and this and that, doing our best to bring some quality entertainment to Uvalde and Uvalde County. They're doing a really great social distanced shows. A lot of safety measures are taken, so don't ever be worried about going to a show at the Opera House. They are taking good care of you and your health. And this Saturday, it's going to be a really good time. The Uvalde Grand Opera House presents Bonnie and Clyde, a musical comedy. And with me on the phone to tell us about it, Mr. John Cecil from Texas Comedies. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Robert. Thanks for having me on. We're very excited about this show. Yes.
Absolutely cool to talk to you. Where are you checking in from, sir?
We'll be coming from Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And coming up to Uvalde. And we tour with these shows, and this is the first one that we've done since quarantine began to lift.
Wow. So you're going to knock off the rust and hit us up in Uvalde, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, we're bringing Bonnie and Clyde and 5 other actors, many of them playing multiple parts, like grannies, lawmen, bystanders, bank tellers, in tons of crazy comic and eventually tragic situations involving Bonnie and Clyde.
So this is obviously the story of Bonnie and Clyde, which is, most people know it and love it. And it's going to be done in kind of a comedic musical style. So give us the quick overview on Bonnie and Clyde. I know you gave us some information there, but then we'll get into actual Texas Comedies and what you guys are all about. So what can we expect Saturday, 6 p.m. at the Opera House?
Well, like you mentioned, Robert, you know how this show ends.
Right.
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But they don't know the love triangle that started it all, because there's a guy, Ted Hinton, who fell in love with Bonnie Parker in West Dallas when she was just 17. She was working in a cafe. He ended up, while she became a notorious criminal, he ended up as a sheriff's deputy. And lo and behold, years later, he was one of the posse, the 6 people that were involved in tracking down and catching Bonnie and Clyde. And like we said, so that is a very little-known story, but absolutely true. And so this show is based in part on Ted Hinton, that's his name, his biography, and how he fell in love with Bonnie Parker and ended up as part of the posse.
Wow, very cool, man. So obviously you're in the production. Can you tell me what role you play?
Well, I'm the director, and then I play in the band. So
right on. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The director, you make the magic happen. Right on, man.
That's right. I make the magic happen. Right. But we have 7 amazing actors, one of which is flying in from L.A. to do this show. And 3 of the people, the Ted Hinton I mentioned, Bonnie and Clyde, they play that part throughout the show. And then the other 4 people play multiple parts throughout.
Again, the show is this Saturday, 6 p.m., Uvalde Grand Opera House. Get your tickets at uvaldeoperahouse.org. You can get more information about Texas Comedies at texascomedies.com. And I tell you what, before we get into telling us all about your production group, let's go ahead and play a clip. You were so kind enough to share me some clips here. This one's called "Running from the Law." Give me a little backstory on what this is about here.
Well, this is about what they did. Most of the time, they were spent in the car running from county to county. And the thing was, in that time, if you got over the county line, they wouldn't chase you. And they couldn't, and they wouldn't call ahead. So if
it's like the Dukes of Hazzard.
They got away. That's right.
Very cool. Okay, so, and this is a song, right, from the show.
That's right.
All right, so check it out. From the big show coming up Saturday, this is Running from the Law.
Tie my necktie tighter and smoke a cigarette. Hot wire up somebody's car and see how far I get. If I run out of money, I rob a grocery store. Spend it all on gasoline and then I got some more. Oh, mama, over roads I roll. Oh, mama, I'm so far away from home. Running from the law now. Running from the law. Running from the law now. Running from the law now. Running from the law now. Running from the law. Running from the law now. Running from the law now. Running from the law now. Running from the law. Running from the law now. Running from the law now. Running from the law now. Running from the law.
The There you go, some music from Bonnie and Clyde, a musical comedy. You can watch the whole show this Saturday, 6 p.m. at the Uvalde Grand Opera House. Reserve seating is $20. Get your tickets at uvaldeoperahouse.org. Talking to the main man, the director, John Cecil over here, man. Wow, it sounds like a lot of work. I mean, you got a band, you got music. Of course, you got the stage act, and you're the director, and you're in the band. Now, what do you do exactly within the band?
Well, I play guitar and occasionally mandolin, and then we have a drummer, and we have a bass player, and occasionally we have a horn player. So we keep it moving a lot. And we love doing it as a live show because it's always live music. It's not pre-recorded. And that way we kind of deliver something different every time.
So what are as a director and a player within the program, what are some of the obstacles that you have to deal with on the regular? I mean, obviously it's a live show, so it's going to be, like you said, different every time. But that seems like a lot of things to choreograph. Yeah,
there's a lot of moving parts. And I'll give away a little bit of the secret. The Ted Hinton actually is a very gifted lead guitar player. So on a couple songs, when Ted Hinton's not on stage, you're going to hear him playing guitar too. So everybody keeps really busy. When you have so much going on and so many characters, constant costume changes, then it's a very fast-moving show.
Very cool. Now, you've given me one more track here. It's called Most of It Is True. Give us a quick rundown on what this little clip's about.
Well, this song is when Bonnie Parker was first arrested. She got caught on a mule running away, and their car broke down, and she tried to get away on a mule. It's a true story. She got caught, and this was based on this is what she was testifying. She's saying most of her story is true, and in fact, this show, most of the stories in this show, not all of them, most of them are true.
So check it out. Most of It Is True, part of Bonnie and Clyde, a musical comedy.
Hey, don't say I lie. Lying to you I could never do. What I'm going to share now, I swear. Most of it is true. Now, let me sing my song. I'll outline all the main points just for you. I'll tell now, and I will vow. Most of it is true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Before you snort and laugh, I tell you more than half. Well, almost half is true.
There you go, a little bit sample of the musical here this Saturday, 6 p.m. at the Uvalde Grand Opera House as the Opera House presents Bonnie and Clyde, a musical comedy. And, man, sounds like going to be like a really fun, kind of complex show. You've got to tell me, about your group. Again, you guys are called Texas Comedies. You mentioned some people are flying out from California. Some of you, I guess, based in Austin. Tell me the backstory of this troupe, how you guys came together, and how it is you guys put these shows on.
Well, we started doing this about 6 or 7 years ago, and we started doing things based on true events in Texas history. But we would find sort of an irreverent take on a thing, like we did the Alamo Aftermath. We did a show called Prohibition, which was about the Prohibition period. We did a show called Cabeza de Vaca. We have a show called Boomtown, which is about an oil boomtown in North Texas, which is based on a true story, a crazy story about the founding of that town, and then eventually the founder was killed in the street. So we're able to take these true stories and turn them into entertaining, engaging musical comedies. And then we take them and tour around the state with them. Of course, we were doing a lot more before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And we try to tailor them a little bit for each town, because a lot of times, like groups like, Bonnie and Clyde, they came to this area. Mm-hmm. So we're able to customize them a little bit for the town.
So 6-7 years, I mean, that seems like a lot of moving parts. How do you guys rehearse? I mean, if there are different people in different places, I guess technology maybe helps, or?
Well, with the pandemic, yeah, we've been doing a little bit of Zoom rehearsing, and then, of course, we've been having to rehearse outside. So those are some new things that we've had to do. But most of us are in Austin, and we also do like 2-week runs of each show. We did this show in Austin back in February, just before the shutdown. So people keep it pretty tight, and and we'll be able to jump right back into it.
All right, again, on the phone, I've got John Cecil. He's the director and musician for the big show this Saturday evening, 6 p.m., Bonnie and Clyde, a musical comedy. Now, John, give me your background, man. What inspired you to direct and be a musician? What share your talents.
Well, I was originally from Texas, and then I moved to, I was in bands and things, and I really got into it from the band side as a musician. Saw so much. I played in New York for a while, and we did a lot of gigs. And then I noticed that this crazy, theater and comedy scene up there was really happening. The audiences were so excited and fun. So I started putting shows together with my band and getting in with the actors. So that sort of evolved into doing these kind of crazy musical comedies. Moving back to Texas, we just fell right into the Texas history stuff. And I love that stuff, and there's just an endless number of crazy stories.
Now, comedy and musicals with a Texas history slant. Do you find yourself doing performances for just kind of the comedy entertainment, or do you ever find yourself doing more of an educational, kind of show?
Well, I always say that you can walk away from our shows having learned nothing. But there is absolutely, yeah. But it's entertainment up front. I mean, we're there to put on a good show. That's the main thing, absolutely. But yeah, there are history buffs who come up to us and talk to us about details. We do a show called The Feud, which was about a real feud in central East Texas. And we had people who knew the families, knew the stories, and they would come up and challenge, and we'd talk to them after the show about all the details of it. And so if there are any Bonnie and Clyde buffs who want to come to this show, we've got the real stories, and we can bring out all sorts of stuff about it, yeah.
Well, very good, man. Again, the show is this Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Kaylin and Camille at the Opera House have just been raving about you guys for weeks. I did get a chance to check out the website and see some photos and a little bit of video, and it looks like just like a fun show. I mean, all your players, man, just seem like they're having a blast. So I know that's going to be infectious, an energetic program, a lot of fun. I got a question for you, though, before we wrap up. I'm sure that you've done your research. What's the best Bonnie and Clyde movie?
Oh, well, I got to say the big one. That's the one with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. That's a fantastic movie. However, not all of that is true either. Mm-hmm. The Frank Hammer stuff. He even his family sued them about his role, the way they portrayed him in that movie, and so he's actually quite different in our show than you'll see him in the movie.
Any other, because I'm sure you know everything about it, any other random tidbits of Bonnie and Clyde trivia that you want to throw out there that's something that we might just not know?
Well, Ted Hinton said she didn't smoke a cigar. He said that they drew the cigar on the picture. So I don't know if I believe that, but, that's what he said.
Well, man, it has been a really cool pleasure talking to you. Again, John Cecil here, director and musician for Bonnie and Clyde musical comedy this weekend at the Uvalde Grand Opera House. Again, get your tickets now. Reserved seating is available at uvaldeoperahouse.org. It will be a socially distanced show. All the safety measures and precautions will be taken. And, man, it's exciting that you're kind of doing your big comeback here in Uvalde, John.
That's right, yeah. We're so happy to kind of relaunch the season and relaunch the year, and we're going to start in Uvalde.
Have you been to Uvalde? Have you seen our Uvalde Grand Opera House?
I have been to Uvalde, and I've seen the Opera House, and I've never been inside, but I've seen the outside, and it looks like the perfect building for what we do, because it's a historic building, and we do historic shows.
Well, John, thank you so much, man. We're looking forward to seeing you and hopefully meeting you Saturday evening. Tell us where we can find more about Texas Comedies.
You can go to our website, which is texascomedies.com.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up here, man, with John Cecil. Man, we appreciate you, brother.
You bet. All right, thank you. We'll see you then.
That's UvaldeRadio.net.